Our medical team that accompanies those patients, they are a critical care level medical team, and they are capable not only to continue the care that was provided in the hospital by a group of professionals, but also they are prepared to respond to any changes in the patient's condition during the flight, whether they are anticipated or unanticipated. Transporting by private aircraft, that's one way that we do this. We also can accompany patients on commercial aircraft, whether it's by medical escort, where we build in a mini intensive care unit on board of a commercial airline, which we call a commercial stretcher, and that would be appropriate for the international traveler that requires a stretcher.
Great, Donna, thank you. Patrick, I know your background and your company's marketing, and one of the stories we hear is that the Caribbean needs to tell our stories better. Would you care to just talk a bit about, the whole concept of marketing medical tourism from the Caribbean?
Sure, thank you. I think one of the primary issues that we face in medical tourism is how can a patient choose what it doesn't perceive as an option? Consequently, if an American or a North American or anyone from anywhere around the world doesn't have an understanding of the quality of healthcare that's offered in the Caribbean, will they actually choose it? And if they do know about it, would they choose it anyways? So what we have to do in the Caribbean, I firmly believe, is operate on a 5-step premise. And this 5-step premise is quite simple. Number one, we have to find patients that are willing and able to travel. The United States, most people, only 25% of Americans actually own a passport. 25 to 30% of Americans own a passport. So if we're talking about a market of 330 million people, only 25 to 30% of them are actually able and willing to travel. Number two, they're going to be concerned about the location where they're going. So that means the country. Is the country safe? Does it have a high quality of health care? Is it ranked according to the World Health Organization? After the country, then it's the city. Is the city a safe place? Does it have adequate resources for us? And then they're going to take a look at the facility. Is the facility that they're choosing a good quality facility? Does it have a brand, a recognized brand that they would be willing to leave home for? Keep in mind that these are people who need medical care, and now they're looking at leaving home, getting on an airplane, going to a foreign country, potentially meeting a doctor that they've never met before. Ideally in the Caribbean they're speaking English, but if they're talking about Colombia or Costa Rica or Mexico or other countries, they might have to speak a different language. Imagine all of the confusion. What we want to do is we want to eliminate that confusion. And then the last effort, the last piece that's critical, is a connection with a doctor. People don't choose healthcare from hospitals or from cities or countries. They choose it because of the reputation of a doctor. And so what I would encourage us to think about is, what do we do differently and what do we do better in the Caribbean? Sure, there are bariatric surgeons, there are orthopedic surgeons, there are heart surgeons, but what do you do in the Caribbean better? How do we focus on that? How do we create a brand based on that and get people excited